Thus spake he, and lo, they all hastened to the work. The heifer she came from the field, and from the swift gallant ship came the company of great-hearted Telemachus. The smith came holding in his hands his tools, the instruments of his craft, anvil and hammer, and well-made pincers, wherewith he wrought the gold. Athene too came to receive her sacrifice, and the old knight Nestor gave gold, and the other fashioned it skilfully, and gilded therewith the horns of the heifer, that the goddess might be glad at the sight of her fair offering. And Stratius and goodly Achephron led the heifer by the horns. And Aretus came forth from the chamber bearing water for the washing of hands in a basin of floured work. And in the other hand he held the barley-meal in a basket. And Thrasymedes, steadfast in the battle, stood by, holding in his hand a sharp axe, ready to smite the heifer. Perseus held the dish for the blood, and the old man Nestor, driver of the chariots, performed the first rite of the washing of hands and sprinkling of the meal, and he prayed instantly to Athena as he began the rite, casting into the fire the lock from the head of the victim. Now when they prayed and tossed the sprinkled grain, straightway the son of Nestor, gallant Thrasymedes, stood by and struck the blow, and the axe severed the tendons of the neck and loosened the might of the heifer. And the women raised their cry, the daughters and the sons' wives, and the wife of revered Nestor, Eurydice, eldest of the daughters of Clymenus. And now they lifted the victim's head from the wide-wayed earth, and held it so, while Pisistratus, leader of men, cut the throat. And after the black blood had gushed forth, and the life had left the bones, quickly they broke up the body, and anon cut slices from the thighs, all duly, and wrapped the same in the fat, folding them double, and laid raw flesh thereon. So that old man burnt them on the cleft wood, and poured over them the red wine, and by his side the young men held in their hands the 5-pronged forks. Now after that the thighs were quite consumed, and they had tasted their inner parts, they cut the rest up small, and spitted and roasted it, holding the sharp spits in their hands. Ugh. Listen, I'm not a evangelistic vegetarian. I don't press my beliefs or thoughts on others. I usually don't even answer the question as to why I'm a vegetarian, but not a fan of what's going on here. I personally could have used without some of these details. But how interesting is it to get such a detailed account of the rites? Because while it's brutal and gory and gross, every moment of this is part of the ritual. Something that can't be skipped, can't be shortcutted while they are killing this cow or bull. They have to collect its blood. They want to make sure they're getting the meat from the bones. They want to make sure it's completely dead. The washing of the hands beforehand to make sure that they are pure before they move forth with any of this. Nestor, being the head of the house, leading this rite and this ritual, is the first to do it. I'm assuming, even though it doesn't say, the rest of the sons who are partaking in this sacrifice are also washing their hands and making this a real, almost religious ceremony. It's very efficient. It's very competent. And that says something about Nestor's household, I think. There's a lot of integrity here, which is, again, in contrast to everything going on in Telemachus's household, with all the wooers breaking and killing oxen all over the place. And Athena is here to witness all of this as well. I was a little confused. I mean, not really confused. I understand what's happening, but I don't understand the sacrificial significance of the fact that they're killing this animal and then they themselves are eating it. Is it just that Athena wants to see others enjoying her sacrifice? Or is part of consuming the flesh of this beast part of what they're sacrificing to Athena? That's something that's a little lost on me. I'd love to have a bit more information on that. Let's not forget the lock that was cut from it and burned, which is a dedication to the god of the animal itself. Barley-meal we talked about in this passage. We've talked about that before. Apparently, based on my basic ass research that I've done, barley-meal was thrown before the blow, which I think also partly logistically to, soak up any blood, like putting down wood chips or something on puke. It's part of the cleanliness of it, the hygiene. But as far as the ritual's concerned, apparently it means it is collective consent to the killing. By throwing this down, everyone, I'm assuming, grabs a little bit and puts it down as a sort of checking the consent box that, yes, I do consent to this sacrifice. There's a lot of talk of thighs, thigh meat, thigh bones in all of these sacrifices. I was a little curious about that as well, and was not able to find a whole lot about that. If you have any insight, please let me know. And then lastly, I mean, there's all these little details in this passage today. There's the women's cry. The wives of the sons and the wife of Nestor all cry out at this. And I don't think it's as misogynistic and simple as them crying in horror at the slaughtering of an animal. I think this is, I'm put in mind of Midsummer, where there's a kind of ritualistic offering of your sorrow to the gods as part of the ritual. It's slightly performative, but it is done with sincerity. Again, I'm speculating here. Don't take my word for it. This is just what I'm put in mind of, that I can't imagine they're all just like, oh my God, don't kill the thing. Because it seems like this is happening all the time. They'd be desensitized to it by now. So I would imagine it is part of like giving up part of your soul for this animal and to the god that you are sacrificing it to. For what purpose, that is what goes beyond me, but that's how I'm going to take it until I get some more research that tells me otherwise. All of that to say, this is a very detailed passage today, and I wasn't expecting almost a like clinical instruction booklet on how to sacrifice something to Athena, but here we are. Go out and do your own sacrifice. Please don't do it. Please, God, don't do that. But here we are at the penultimate episode of Book 3. That means I got to talk a little bit about the Patreon, try to pay some bills here. Patreon.com/gruntworkpod is the Patreon for our podcast network, Gruntwork Podcasts, that hosts this show. It hosts a number of shows in which your contributions are essential to keep going. There's a lot of overhead for this network. Your contributions help to not only keep this show going and keeping it ad-free, which is important to me. Can you imagine having an ad on a 10-minute episode? Bleak. But allowing us to create new shows, find new opportunities. And you could do it for as little as $1 per month. That's 3 cents per episode. If you really want to break it down, there's 30 days in a month. That's 30 episodes. $1 divided by 30. Is it 30? Is it 3 cents? Yeah, it's 3 cents. 3 cents per episode. And we are getting close, actually, to hitting our goal of breaking even. You can help us get there if you want to contribute for as little as $1 per month, but as much as you want. There's no commitments. You can stop anytime. And what you get for that is story-only audio of each chapter, each book, as we complete them. So as of tomorrow, you'll be able to get books 1 through 3 as a kind of like traditional audiobook experience. If you want to keep up with the story, if you fall behind on the daily episodes, but you want to keep up with the story, you can listen to the story-only audio, catch up, and then you're good. You're good. And by the end of the project, you'll have a full audiobook of the Odyssey. Plus, there's some bonus episodes. As I said, we're coming up on support month for our network, and I'm going to be releasing a bonus episode that I hope you all will enjoy. There's also a surprise free episode coming out soon. So do all of that over at patreon.com/gruntworkpod. You can also help to support the show by leaving a rating or review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, subscribe and comment on YouTube, send somebody the podcast feed, send somebody the YouTube channel, let them know they might enjoy the show. And also, I want to hear from you on Discord. It is free for absolutely anybody. If you don't want to contribute on Patreon, you don't have to in order to get access to the Discord. The link is in the show notes for every single episode. Sign off. Let me know what you want from this show, what you like. Answer some of the questions. Give me some of the research that I'm not doing. Let me know what direction you want the show to go in. We've got a long way to go, and I'm glad you're here. That's the most important thing, that you're here every day. And I'm not talking to myself alone in a closet. I mean, I am, but Eventually, you'll listen, I hope. Oh boy, I'm going off the rails, so I'm going to end it there. Join me here tomorrow for the final episode of Book 3. Until then, goodbye. Odyssey is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. The show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Odyssey, written by Homer. Theme song by Neuroflow. You can support this show and other shows like it by going to patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.